What's up, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a ban list prediction video. Obviously, as we know, Nationals has finally come and gone, and with the winner, the deck that ended up taking first place, I believe, was Domain Monarchs, and finishing second was Phantom Knight Burning Abyss. And now, wouldn't that have been pretty funny if Burning Abyss would have won Nationals 2 years in a row? That's to all of you people who said Burning Abyss wasn't doing anything or wasn't going to do anything back, you know, when I made that other ban list prediction video. The people said, leave Burning Abyss alone. Leave it alone. It's not going to get hit. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. BA is not going to get hit. It's not going to do anything. And it almost won Nationals again, so shut up. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this video. I already recorded this video, but I didn't use the right microphone. It used one of my webcams, so it sounded like I was underwater. So now I have to do this over again. But you know, I like wasting my time. You know, it's good. It's always good to do that. So Aether. Basically, one problem with this card is that it does, you know, allow you to send 2 Monarch spells or trapped when it is tribute summoned, which is busted. There's no other Monarch except Erebus, you know, that does that. You know, they got the support in the structure deck. You can send Pantheism, you can send Prime, 2 amazing cards, you know, and Pantheism allows you to get anything. Technically, it can get you a Stormforth, and the big issue with that is basically you can reveal 3 Tenacity, and then you get yourself a guaranteed Stormforth if you have a card in your hand to reveal with Tenacity. And then you can summon out another Aether, and now basically you're searching Aether when you do that. And I think that's one of the big issues, that you can search Aether basically off Aether. You can get Aether off Aether. I think it should be a stipulation, at least. There should have been a stipulation, at least, where you could summon any thing that fits that 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense mark, but it can't be Aether. I think that would have been a little more fair, just because you can just search Aether, you know, basically off just tribute summoning it and then sending 2 Monarch spells or traps. So pretty busted card, and I definitely think it should get hit. Will it get hit? I don't know. It could go down to 1, it could go down to 2, or they'll just leave it. I don't know. Pantheism, the Monarchs. I know a lot of people way back when I made the other video that said Pantheism should get hit, and people I've seen talk about it recently said Pantheism should get hit. It does get you drawing cards. It does get you searching in the same turn. You can use the draw effect multiple times in a turn. So basically, you could draw, get this in your graveyard, banish it, reveal 3 Tenacity, search it again, draw 2 more cards, and then you can't search again that turn, but who cares, you'll just search again next turn. Or you could send an idea to the graveyard, grab this back, and, you know, use it again and put Prime and grave draw cards. Definitely a huge card to help this deck that already isn't that consistent be more consistent, and they help gain a lot of advantage off that, and I definitely think it does need to go maybe down to 2, who knows for that reason, but it is a really good card. Will it get hit? Does it deserve to get banned? No, it definitely doesn't deserve to get banned, but I think I could see it going down to 1, you know, being realistic with you guys. Alright guys, so next, let's talk about the Monarch Stormforth. I think from day 1 since this card was available, we all knew it was broken and that it should got hit. You know, we saw, originally when it first came out, Monarchs weren't even using this card. Nobody was even playing Monarchs. I think Cliff Orts were using it, and now that Monarchs are a thing, you see, you know, Stormforth being even more and more relevant now that Monarchs have, you know, won Nationals again. I don't know if Monarchs have ever won Nationals when they first were a thing, you know, with Caius and stuff, but this card has allowed them to do a lot of stuff, especially in combination with Aether, because you can tribute summon during your opponent's turn with Aether, and then obviously Stormforth making it so much easier to do that, and then Prime giving you that free tribute. I do think it's a card that does need to get hit, and you like your opponent doesn't even need to have a monster for you to activate this card. That's one other thing about this card. It has so many like weird stipulations that make it that much better. Like it doesn't affect a monster. It only like affects the player or whatever. At least I think that's how it goes. Or your opponent doesn't need to have a monster on their field. You could just activate it, get it in the graveyard, and wait till they summon a monster, and then tribute it away. So if they, you know, blind embassy at the start of your turn, you know, they're still not safe from losing a monster to Stormforth. Domain of the True Monarchs. I believe it was Domain Monarchs that did 1 Nationals, so they were able to use this card to the fullest extent. Multiple effects, locking your opponent out of the extra deck, obviously giving you a huge advantage, like in that final matchup against BAPK. being able to lock them out of Dante, Beatrice, Virgil, all that stuff. Break Sword, so I think it's a very busted card. Not only does it lock your opponent out of the extra deck if you're playing Domain Monarchs, it does give your stuff 800 attack boost, and you can knock down basically any of the Aether, any of the Mega Monarchs or Erebus down by 2 levels to make it level 6. You can go into rank 6 plays if you're playing Xyz Monarchs. Very, very helpful card. Multiple effects on one card, and I definitely think this card does deserve to get hit down to 1. Does it get banned? I don't think it deserves to get banned. And, maybe you guys think differently. If so, let me know down in the comment section below. Next, let's talk about BA. This deck has not, even come close to dying, even with the past few hits with Tour Guide and Seer and Graft 2 and 1 respectively. I think if the deck does need to get punished, with OCG having it, it hasn't done too much over there. And I think the final 4 in the OCG Nationals or Japanese Nationals was 3 D2D and 1 ABC, so BA didn't even do anything over there really too relevant, even though they have 3 Lure of Darkness, which is crazy. But I don't know what Tour Guide is at over there. I'm not sure what it's at. Maybe that affects its playability. You'll see Skarm is definitely one of those cards that does need to get hit in order, for the deck to even start slowing down. Same thing with Dante. I think Dante needs to get it to 2, maybe Skarm to 1, or maybe both to 2, or maybe 2-1, vice versa. Maybe it would kill the deck, maybe it would not. Maybe everybody said that Tour Guide getting hit and Steergraph to 2 and 1 respectively would kill the deck. It still hasn't killed it. It literally almost won Nationals again 2 years in a row, and I don't think there's ever been an archetype, maybe I could be wrong, but there's ever been an archetype that's top the NAWCQ 2 years in a row, and Burning Abyss came very close to doing that, even though they had the help of Phantom Knights. Still, Burning Abyss being the driving heart of the deck, and it almost won Nationals again, which is kind of scary. Seer is a very, very powerful card. I think this card deserves to go to 1, just because you can bring back Beatrice, you can bring back Purple Dante that you got off Beatrice, you can bring back Virgil, you can bring back so many really powerful cards pretty much for free with this thing, and I don't think it needs to get hit again down to 1. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. And we already talked about Dante. Maybe hitting Dante would be nice, Konami. Maybe hitting this card would be kind of cool. The Kozmo Dart Destroyer, I don't think it's gonna get hit, but it is a 3000 attack mortal attack that can't be targeted, so very problematic. A lot of decks have a very hard time dealing with this card, and I don't know. Will it get hit? Probably not. I think Tin Can, like I said here, is going to get maybe the rough end of the stick, get hit down to maybe 2 or 1, because it is a very, very powerful card. It does help you gain advantage. You can tag out for it, pay 500. It's tutorable by E-Telly. You can get the ad out, through E-Telly. You can reveal 3. Then your opponent picks 1 randomly. It's random, so it really doesn't matter too much. If your opponent got to pick directly, it'd be a little more fair. And the fact that the 2 other cards get sent to the graveyard is really, really busted, because they can just revive whatever they sent to the graveyard with Call the Haunted, so it can be a setup at the same time, as well as they're getting a free card to their hand, whether it be Kozmotown, Cosmojo, sending Dart Destroyers and Slip Riders to the graveyard to be just Call the Haunted back later. I think this card does need to get hit. I think it's definitely a problematic card. And another thing, Dart Destroyer with Fire King Island being a thing, this allows the deck to become a lot more explosive. And we've seen now 3 different types of Kozmo basically spawn in this new format. We have Fire King Kozmo, we have Demise Kozmo, and we have Pure Kozmo. I'm not sure what the representation was at Nationals. I haven't really looked into that in much depth to see what people were running and not running, and whether there was one way to play it that was favored over the other, or if it was kind of an even thing. I don't know. Although, as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure Fire King Island Kozmo is a lot more explosive, a lot more going to the extra deck. And another thing I forgot to mention is Domain of the True Monarchs, one of those cards that if they can lock you out of your extra deck, it pretty much hurts every other deck that it has to compete against. Pendulums, Burning Abyss, and Fire King Kozmo, because they do use the extra deck a whole lot to make some of their very explosive plays. Kozmotown, another sacrifice-like card or domain-like card that has multiple effects, and the fact that it can add itself is absolutely busted. So you can Slip Rider, pop it, and then use another effect to mulligan again, or add back another banished card for even more advantage. Very obvious reason. I think it should get hit maybe to 2 or 1. Maybe start making the deck play. What is it? Terraforming. Maybe see this card a lot sooner. And another thing I brought back on the list, I put on this list just kind of for me, you know, maybe bring back Dragoons to 3. I don't think it would be too big of a deal. Like, for all these are going to start crying that it might be a huge deal to stop. It really wouldn't make that much of a difference. Maybe if they brought Diva to 3 or gave us title, if they would just give us title for some weird reason, which I don't see them doing that would literally make no sense to just bring back title. Like, they're just clearly favoring water at that point. You know, obviously they're going to bring back title. They have to bring back all the other dragon rulers and then just ban the baby rulers. But I don't think they're going to do that. Especially with all the blue eyes and all the dragon stuff that'll be coming to the forefront, you know, with all the Falconite stuff as well. I think Dragoons, though, could come back to 3. It would help the deck out a lot, especially with Norden at 1. It would just be nice to see this card a lot quicker and just have it be sent. You know, just having more Dragoons to send off of Neptibus, because usually, you know, turn 1 Neptibus, you send 1, you add 1, you usually send her Dragoons, and then you add her Dragoons off Neptibus, and then you add a Megalo, so that's both your Dragoons pretty much gone, and then you kind of need to, you know, conserve them, or just the only way you can use them, again, is through an Instant Fusion, which, you know, and the thing with, like, Instant Fusion is that we only have 1 Norden, so you're only ever going to need to use 1 Norden, or 1 Instant Fusion, I should say, to get that 1 Norden out. So maybe Norden can come back. I didn't put him on the list because I feel like he just won't come back at all. I think he'll stay at 1 for a little while. Yeah, so I think Dragoons could come back to 3, and we're getting a bunch of other water support, as is. We're getting Tree Toad, we're getting, what is it called, Coral Dragon, we're getting those in the very near future, so I cannot wait for those. So maybe it'll give, you know, Mermails a little boost, and I think that'd be greatly appreciated. Greatly, you know, helpful for the deck. I think, you know, Dragoons to 3. Diva, I don't think so though. Darkhold could come to 3. It's fair. It hits both sides of the field, or it could just stay at 2. Raigeki, honestly don't know why I put this card here. It could go back to being banned, or it could just stay. It is one of those cards that can instantly change the tide of the game, which is kind of we've seen in the past, like Snatch Steal being one of those top deck cards that you could just outright lose to. Who knows? It could stay at 1, and I honestly most likely think it'll stay at 1. Honest could come to 3. I don't think there's a lot of decks that are using this card. Although I think the Cyber Angels will be abusing the hell out of this card with the Ben 10. So maybe this will stay at 2. Maybe it'll go back to 1. Or maybe when that deck is finally taking the TCG, after it's, you know, abused the hell out of Honest, they'll hit it then. Because that's usually what they do. They kind of like let them have their fun, and then they ban it or limit it afterwards. Cards of Demise, with all the new draw power coming to the TCG, a Pot of Avidity, Pot of Cupidity, and all the decks that have spawned off of just this card. You know, I've seen Demise just send you, I've seen Demise this, Demise that. You know, being some of the more notable ones would be like Cliffort and Kozmo. Those cards are were very relevant at Nationals. My friend ended up playing a whole lot of Cliffort Demise at Nationals, and he said it was a pain in the ass, and the deck just is something that had just spawned off of this card, and I think it sucks that we're going to have to deal with Cliffort again because of this card. I do think this card needs to go. Maybe not get banned, maybe hit it to 2 or 1. I think that would be a fair call. I don't know, like I said, leave your guys' opinions down in the comment section on Cards of Demise. And lastly, Thousand Eyes Restrict. A lot of people thought this card wouldn't come back. It hasn't done anything. It could be one of those cards that just comes back to 3, because whether it's at 1 or 3, I don't think any deck is going to be able to abuse it at 3 right now. Maybe there is. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I don't know. If so, let me know in the comment section below. And that is pretty much going to wrap up this discussion video, or this prediction video, whatever you want to call it, on the upcoming ban list post-Nationals. We'll see what happens, like I said. And also another thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention is, do you guys like, you know, scheduled ban lists, like every so often, you know, from keeping the format stagnant? Like, that's what I like. I like how, you know, back then they used to have a format, you know, each section, you know, a certain time period in between, so the formats, like I said, wouldn't get stagnant, and we'd see some change, you know, here and there. But now, sorry, I just hit the mic. But now it's just kind of Konami's like, oh, we'll deal with it whenever we think it's necessary, and then we have these long stretches of time where there's just nothing changes. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said in the comments section below, leave a like if you enjoyed. Yeah. WonderTale signing out. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you so much for watching.